As the UT Baylor game night approaches, there's a new requirement Longhorn fans must complete before attending a home game. More on the controversy around the Ice of Texas that left the Texas Longhorn with no ban ahead of the game. And find out how some organizations are adapting during the pandemic to combat food insecurity in students. Reporting Texas TV starts now. Good evening and welcome to Reporting Texas TV. I'm Bismarck Andino in San Antonio. Students with a big ticket to get into the UT football game must get a proactive COVID test before each home game in order to attend. Stephanie Witt has the story.
Alex Legamaro is a big UT football fan. In order to get into the game, the senior journalism major has gotten tested the past 2 weeks and says the process was easy.
From the time it took me to get to my car, through the check-in line, getting the swab, and back to my car, it was a total of 5 minutes.
Testing is done on a walk-up basis at DKR Stadium. No pre-registration is required. Big ticket holders receive weekly emails from Texas Athletics with information on when to get a proactive test. The Texas football team fully supports this.
We all have a responsibility to protect our health and the health of our loved ones. So make sure you do your part to slow the spread of COVID-19.
The only days for big ticket holders to get tested is on Tuesday and Wednesday for Saturday games. But students like Alex are concerned about the 3-day exposure window.
I was talking with all my friends, and we're not really sure why they're doing that, because if you do get a negative test, it does leave a lot of time for exposure.
We had to move that back and do it on Tuesday and Wednesday. That allows us enough time to get the results and get them over to athletics with enough time for if students do test positive to nullify the ticket.
Alex says testing for her is a win-win situation.
You see some schools that don't require that, and I feel like that's just kind of walking into something that that you could be preventing.
Stephanie Witt, reporting Texas TV.
In past weeks, there has been approximately 1,200 COVID tests given for big ticket holders. It is still uncertain if the Baylor game will be played this week after several players tested positive for COVID-19. The Texas football team is set to wear their white throwback uniforms at this week's home game for the first time since 1950. The Texas school system will soon have COVID-19 rapid testing for faculty and students as part of a pilot program. The program, which aims to mitigate the spread of the virus on campuses, will provide PPEs and 15 minutes result testing to 8 schools with plans to expand across the state. Public as well as private schools interested in joining the program will be able to apply through the Texas Education Agency no later than October 28. The Texas Longhorn Band will not attend the UT Baylor game on Saturday. According to the Daily Texan, the decision comes after several students opposed performing the Ice of Texas. The controversial song has been subject of debate between the Longhorn Band and UT officials because the song debuted as a minstrel show in the early 1900s. A survey of the band found a large number unwilling to perform the song. There's an increase in scooter and motorcycle thefts in West Campus. According to an APD alert, scooters are particularly easy to steal because they can be picked up and placed on another vehicle. APD recommends students with scooters and bikes to park in a safe place and to use a lock, chain, and bike cover. If you own a vehicle, they also recommend removing keys and setting an alarm to deter thieves. APD is investigating the incidents, and if you have any information on these thefts, please contact APD at 311. Stan Richer has apologized and stepped down from his company after his disparaging remarks were made public. During a meeting on October 8th, Richards critiqued a Motel 6 advertisement, calling it too black and saying it might offend white supremacist constituents. Richards, who is the namesake of UT's advertising and public relations school, apologized late last week.
I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life. One I will never be able to adequately explain or to take back. Through my inappropriate words, I caused pain and anger to the people who I respect and care about.
In a letter to student and staff, Dean of Moody College of Communications, Jay Bernhardt, called the statement racially intolerant and bigoted. No decision has been made about a potential name change for the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations. UT will soon have the largest center in Austin for education and research on stuttering. On Monday, Home Depot's co-founder awarded UT a $20 million grant to form this center in the Moody College of Communication. As a fellow stutterer himself, he said the program will have an impact on people's lives.
Your ability to not be defined by fluency and by your stutter will carry over to so many other areas in your life, which are actually much more important and much more significant.
The grant will be paid over 10 years and will house and expand several existing programs at UT. The program currently serves 500 people ages 3 to adult. The new program will help 3,000 people a year. More of that altruistic work continues to motivate charities in Austin to provide meals for students in need. However, when the pandemic hit, some had to adapt quickly. Alyssa Crosby has the story.
Monica Von Waden spent years working with the Round Rock ISD Clothes Closet program. When her children graduated from the district, Von Waden continued her philanthropy.
I thought, oh, well, if there's a need for clothing, and I saw lots of need for clothing, people coming into the clothes closet, I said, there has to be a need for food.
Von Waden founded Hope Austin in 2016 to combat food insecurity. The organization provides meals and snacks for nearly 2,000 students across 5 districts and 3 counties. Getting the meal kits ready sometimes requires as many as 80 volunteers.
It was a lot of fun, I think. It was like just working together with all these people and kind of like the assembly line thing. Like, it's really satisfying, and also just sort of the like knowing it's for a good cause. Like, it was a really good time.
When the coronavirus pandemic hit, Hope Austin worked through the summer to feed students with a scaled-back force. Now in the school year, it provides meals to in-person and virtual learners by adding to school food pantries and curbside pickup sites.
To know that someone cares so much about you to want to make sure you have your basic needs met, we're very grateful for them.
We want them to know they're cared for and loved, and this community will care for them, because one day they will in turn for people in their community.
Alyssa Crosby, reporting Texas TV.
Hope Austin is funded through grants and donations. To learn more about the organization and how you can help, visit hopeforoustin.org. Austin ISD will continue providing free meals to students through June 2021. The meals include free breakfast and lunch for in-person students, but if your child is attending school online, you can go to one of over 40 curbside pickup locations to receive 7-day meal packs. No identification or application is necessary for children under the age of 19, and children outside of AISD are also eligible. A federal court blocked President Trump's effort to eliminate food stamps benefits for certain people. U.S. District Judge Beryl A. Howell of D.C. condemned the administration for failing to consider how the rule would impact 700,000 unemployed Americans, adding that food stamps have soared during the pandemic. Currently, 1 in 7 Texans are food insecure, and according to the Texas Workforce Commission, unemployment in Texas rose to 8.3% from 7% in August. Texas social workers can now turn away LGBTQ clients and those with a disability. The Texas State Board of Social Work Examiners approved changes to a Texas Code of Conduct that removed protections for sexual orientation, gender equality, and disability. The change was made after a recommendation from Governor Greg Abbott's office. The section of the code being changed establishes when a social worker may refuse to serve someone. Several advocacy groups spoke out on how the decision could put the vulnerable, disabled, and LGBTQ people at greater risk.
These are already marginalized communities, and providing social workers with the idea that they can discriminate against them is outrageous.
Abbott's office says the change was suggested because the board's non-discrimination clause went beyond the state's policy on social work. A federal appeals court said Texas does not have to give voters the chance to correct the rejected mail-in ballots due to signature problems. In response, Travis County Clerk Dana Adebawa says that voters whose ballots are rejected will be notified by mail and given an opportunity to fix it. She also recommends to use the county's ballot tracker at votetravis.com if you have any concerns about your ballot not being counted. More than 10,000 people have voted in Travis County by lunchtime today. The Travis County Clerk's office reminds voters that October 30th is the last day for early voting. And if you are planning on voting soon, there are 37 voting centers in Austin where you can cast your ballot. To find out if you live near one, simply go to traviscounty.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you can check out reportingtexas.com for the latest news from Austin and around the state. I'm Bismarck Candino, and for all of us at Reporting Texas TV, good night.